Hi, I'm Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and very hopeful time. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of July 28th, 2012, and One Jaguar in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. We're also going to discuss the Aquarius full moon, Mercury turning direct, and Venus moving into Cancer. July 28th is One Ish, or Jaguar, which carries the themes of shamanism, earth magic, strength and intellect, spirit of the jungles, gratitude, speed and stealth, Mother Nature, feminine and feline energy, mysticism, and expansion of consciousness. The Jaguar represents the primal spiritual force that inhabits all of us. And to the Maya, the Jaguar's spotted coat represented the Milky Way galaxy. This 13-day cycle is about exposing our dark spots to the light and being transformed. This is a time to release fears so that we can be in our intuition. This is a time to turn our attention and our actions to taking care of our planet and our bodies. Astrologically, the One Jaguar Tzolkin begins with Mercury, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are retrograde. But I think it's interesting that this Jaguar 13-day period begins on the day that retrograde Mercury merges with the sun, which can really change our focus of Leo's creative energy. And then prior to that, in this cycle here, prior to the 28th, Mercury was out in front of the sun, which might have felt like events and information, sort of brings feelings of just, getting that things are getting out of control. And then after Mercury moves behind the sun, there can be kind of confusion about how to manifest our ideas, and the need to follow our intuition and faith becomes more important in moving through the time leading up to Mercury turning direct on August 8th. And I covered the mechanics of retrograde planets in the One Eagle report, and that was back in June 19th. And I also covered the three phases of this Mercury retrograde in the One Star video back July 2nd. So you may want to check out those if you missed them. Anyway, the details of the daily energy for this Tzolkin, July 28th is One Jaguar. This is unity experience through enjoying nature. The sun merges with the retrograde Mercury, increasing mental energy as we shift our perspective based on the information we have become aware of through reviewing our past experiences, as the sun illuminates plans for the future as we become more conscious of this course correction that we are being guided to make. While all this is happening, we got the Sagittarius moon is challenged by Neptune, supported by the sun, Mercury, and Uranus, and opposed by Jupiter. The emotional energy of that day of this shifts from miscommunication and confusion at the beginning of the day to more clarity and drive towards accomplishment, and later it adds inspiration and innovation, and then it wraps up with a need to be conservative in any financial dealings. The 29th is Two Eagle. This is about duality experienced through seeing from a higher perspective, as the moon is stimulated by Mars and Saturn and opposed by Venus. The day's emotional energy begins with elevated spirits and stamina to get something done, and then later it's contraindicated for beginning anything romantic at this time. And then finally, there's a feeling that structure is needed in order to create a foundation for something that's going to endure over time. July 30th is Three Wisdom. This is about taking action through reflection, meditation, forgiveness, as the Capricorn moon harmonizes with Neptune, merges with Pluto, and is challenged by Uranus. The emotional energy moves from sensitivity to others' moods to psychic awareness early in the day, to intensity, emotional intensity, excuse me, as we become more conscious of energy that's coming up from deeper parts of our psyche. while there's also these feelings of rebelliousness and, just this quick energy to jump to conclusions. The 31st is for Earth, which is about finding stability through gratitude for Mother Earth. As the sun is supported by Uranus, this energy illuminates unexpected possibilities. And while Venus is supported by Saturn, which is positive for money matters and romantic commitments, and then we have the moon is in Capricorn and is being challenged by Mars and Saturn. The day begins with some irritability, and some will argue just needlessly, and then later there's feelings of loneliness and kind of being out of touch with others. August 1st is 5 Flint, and this is about being empowered through being introspective, while the Aquarius full moon is opposed by Mercury and the Sun, stimulated by Uranus, and supported by Jupiter. This is a very powerful, positive full moon, and it brings the desire to be independent and innovative, and it comes as a relief after this really stress-filled July we've had. The Sun and Mercury are in Leo, so there may be some drama, but considering what we've been through over the last month, it's like water off a duck's back. Uranus and Jupiter could bring some unexpected expansion. The house of your astrological chart that contains 10 degrees of Aquarius will be energized during this full moon. For me, that will be my 9th house, so perhaps I'll, have a focus on mental expansion or long-distance travel. The second is 6th Storm, which is about being in the flow through recognizing the gifts and adversity, with the Sun harmonizing with Jupiter, which can be really positive and brings a desire to be connected with things larger than ourselves. As the Aquarius moon is supported by Mars and Saturn, this brings an emotional energy that begins with the ability to assert ourselves positively, and then later it brings a real realistic view of life. And then August 3rd is 7th Sun, and this is about reflection through honoring the wisdom and memory of our ancestors, while the moon is supported by Venus and merges with Neptune and harmonizes with Pluto. The day's emotional energy begins with pleasant feelings shared with people in our immediate environment, and then later sensitivity and empathy for the moods of others. And finally, this just really arouses very deep emotions. The 4th is 8 Crocodile, balance experience through nurturing new beginnings. The Pisces moon is challenged by Jupiter, which brings positive feelings and generosity to others. August 5th is 5 Wind. This is about patience through 9 Wind, patience through experiencing our communications. As the moon is challenged by Venus and supported by Mercury, it brings a pleasant day with people being open with their feelings. And then the 6th is 10 Night, which is about manifestation through contemplating the stars. As the Aries moon is challenged by Pluto, merges with Uranus, harmonizes with Jupiter, and supported by the Sun. The day's emotional energies start with the urge towards compulsive behavior and a willingness to act rashly, but later shifts to more benevolent feelings and then resolves to feeling in harmony between our inner and outer worlds. August 7th is 11 Seed. This is about resolution through making new connections and planting new seeds. As Venus moves into Cancer, this brings a focus on the aesthetics of our home and social interactions with people who give us comfort. While the moon in Aries is opposed by Mars and Saturn, the emotional wave moves from a brief window of really discordant energy, and then later shifts into kind of feeling lonely. So this can be, somewhat troubling for relationships. And then the 8th is 12 Serpent. This is about understanding through being flexible as Mercury turns direct, although it will be a few days before it picks up momentum. But we're now moving into a time to implement the course correction that we've become aware of through this whole process here. Um, and and so so this past Mercury retrograde cycle has really made us aware of some things that we want to change, so that we're now free to move forward with less restrictions and resistance. And then while we also on that day we have the Taurus moon harmonizes with Venus and Neptune and is challenged by Mercury and supported by Pluto. It brings a day of shifting emotional energy from wanting to be with the people we love to later having sort of critical communications. And then there's a sensitivity to others' moods. And finally, intensified emotions rising to the surface. And then on August 9th, we have 13 transformation. This is about moving to the next stage through letting go of the past as Venus gains some support from Neptune. This is lovely energy for daydreams and fantasy, but not so great for getting things done. So it's a good day to make time for something creative. And while the first quarter moon is challenged by the sun, which can bring some tensions that might surface, especially between the sexes. This One Jaguar Tzolkin is about moving beyond fear. So I thought I'm going to talk about Cosmic Chicken. When I was a kid, we used to play this game called Chicken, and we'd like ride our bikes or we'd run at each other. And the idea is that, when two people are on a collision course, that somebody usually flinches to avoid the crash. And it was a game we used to play to become aware of our fear of injury, but rarely would people get more than, a bruise or something like that. Mostly the bruises were the ego. I still don't recommend playing Chicken, but, that's kind of what the game was about. And then Cosmic Chicken, that's what I want to talk about, is rooted in the belief that we're on a path that evolves by following our passion. And, I've studied my own astrology and human design and Mayan Tzolkin day sign and numerology as it relates to the tarot, and have concluded that following my bliss, as I've been for a few years now, in making these videos and providing readings and teaching classes and workshops and playing music, should eventually lead to material comfort. And last year I put up a video on YouTube called Multisystemic Readings, in which I used my birth information to kind of look at how all those systems work together. And if you watch that, it might give you an idea of how I came to decide to make this complete leap of faith of just really following what has heart and meaning for me, and not really trying to do any, work that is just, it is not like really my passion, which is doing readings and playing music and things like that. But, we'll see how this all plays out. But it's interesting to me because right now I'm at this place where I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. And so I think, in most spiritual traditions, there's a point where the character, in order to transcend, they have to really, face major fears and try to dispel them. And for the most part, on this journey, I've been supported by unseen energies, and through the course of events, my bills have got paid, at least until I got into this Mercury retrograde cycle here. And here we are at the end of July, and I have absolutely no idea where the money's going to come to pay the mortgage in just a few days. So this is becoming a very real fear for me in playing my game of Cosmic Chicken. So during this time period, I have Jupiter in a challenging square to my natal Pluto. So it's anybody's guess how this is going to be resolved. But I think overall, the transits for the next few years really indicate that being safe but not promoting growth will not, that kind of behavior is just not going to be a survival path. That the path that appears risky leads to stability through spiritual advancement. And there's a Rumi poem, and I couldn't remember the name of it. I thought it was like the Fountainhead. But in the poem, there was two lines of people, and one line walks into the river, and emerges in the middle of the fire, and the other line walks into the fire and emerges in the river. And I think at this time this is a time we're playing it safe at the expense of our spiritual growth and inspiration. It's going to really lead to great distress, where holding on to a relationship where you just settled and there's nothing more to learn from being with that person, or being in a job that does not lift your heart, but only provides a paycheck. I think that this is this kind of path that's going to lead people to find fire. But I think that those people who take a leap of faith into the flames of their passions will eventually find the resources that they need. And I'm betting my whole everything on this. To me, following my strategy and authority from human design is really the only way that I think I'm going to successfully be able to navigate this experience. And knowing all the information from all these other systems gives me comfort when the outside world seems to be going to hell in a handbasket. So during this One Jaguar Tzolkin, I'm definitely facing and hopefully releasing these fears. And if I'm successful with this experiment, I think I'm going to have something that's going to be significant to offer humanity in discovering a formula for living in our heart's true passion and fulfilling our destinies in this incarnation. Or I may just crash and burn. But that's the nature of this experiment. And I think that although I may not have been receiving much financial recognition at this time, the universe has definitely been blessing me in the readings that I've been providing lately, which I consider to be a sign that I continue to be on the right course in the way that I'm currently living my life. And what's been happening is I've been preparing for these readings the way I always have. But we get to a point in the reading and I'm just sort of listening with utter amazement at the words that are coming out of my mouth, as though I'm just there as a vessel and something greater is communicating through me. So I'm willing to put everything I have on the line to have the experience of being in my passion as a path to manifesting prosperity during a time of great uncertainty, one of the most greatest times of uncertainty in modern history, I think. And if it works, this could be a model that would assist others in having their own success despite their environment and their conditioning. And it almost feels like I'm starring in my own reality show. So stay tuned for more episodes in future videos. So anyway, whether you're following your passions or you're running for your fears during this One Jaguar Tzolkin, take some time out to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment by being introspection or meditation, or being with somebody you love. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what dramas present themselves on our world stage. We're all here giving the performance of our lifetime. But remember to take some time out to observe the play as well as play your part as the actor on the stage. Because it's really, really, really important to remember that we're spiritual beings having human experiences. Anyway, as always, I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age is going to be on August 10th for One Deer. And we're also going to discuss the Leo new moon, the sun moving into Virgo, I'm also going to discuss why the pursuit of unity consciousness actually benefits the global elite. So you can check us out on Facebook or YouTube or the Mayan Magics website. I invite you to email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com. If you've got any questions or you wish to schedule a reading, I am providing readings and wish to make the service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. These readings are designed to provide information that will help you navigate through the difficult times ahead. At the basic level, we're going to look at your human design chart to understand how you can use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your own unique design. I'm going to include 3 months of astrological transits as they relate to your natal and progressed astrology charts, along with the human design at the middle level. And at the top level, the human design and astrology transit reading will be recorded and sent to you as an MP3 file that you can download to your computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading during these, challenging and uncertain times, please, please, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading. You'll need to be either able to call me in Maine in the U.S. or connect on Skype to receive your reading. Or I've actually done some international readings where they've gone with the highest level where there was recording, where I actually record the reading and then email it to the person, and then they communicate with me by sending me questions on the email. So there's a couple different ways that we can do it. I'm trying to get readings to everybody, and trying to do it within people's budgets as well. Anyway, as always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for all these ancient mysteries and their applications to our journey in this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste and Lakesh.